If you're watching this video, it's because somebody you trust has recommended you reach out to me to talk about a home loan. I wanted to take a moment and introduce myself, explain a little bit about the process so you feel less intimidated and more encouraged to set up your first meeting with me. My name is Rachel Denson. I am what's called a home loan officer. So my whole job is to help explain home loan options to you and talk to you about what's required to get you through the whole process to ultimately get you what's called to the closing table, which means where we officially give you that money and approve your home loan. My piece of advice for everybody, though, is it's never too early to start the conversation about what it's going to require for you to be approved for financing. When you first talk to me, it is a complimentary consultation. I sometimes tell people, think of me as your mortgage therapist. We're just going to talk through high-level items to make sure that you are on the right track for being able to be approved. And then if all of that sounds good and you want to make next steps, we'll go from there. So when we first have our conversation, the main things we're going to be talking about are what's your current living situation and what's that history look like? Are you renting? Do you not have any kind of housing expense? And then we're going to move on to talk about how do you make money? Is that through employment? Are you self-employed? Do you have fixed income? We'll talk through all the details because this video would be hours and hours long if I gave you a example or how to for each different type of income. So the better way is just for us to carve out some time and talk about all the specifics for you. And then finally, the last big piece is what kind of savings do you have to spend on this home loan? And if it's nothing, that's okay too. We'll talk about options for there. Or like I said, we'll go back to what if we can wait 6 months and you've got savings then? So I'm going to be able to give you a much more specific to you idea on what all the pieces are and what we would need. We'll also talk about any documentation I would need. So when you first have the conversation with me, no documents are required, but it is helpful if you know your last 2 years of address history with dates and you know your last 2 years of work history with dates. So if you can have all that written down, and then also it never hurts to bring me your most recent pay stub because that will be a helpful piece for me to take a look at if you've got unique income that has fluctuating earnings. That is the beginning conversation in a nutshell. And I hope you feel encouraged and motivated to reach out to me. I would love to help you and work with you. Again, it's a conversation that's just a starting point. You do not have to have anything at all figured out when you first talk to me. I hope that when you've finish this conversation with me, you will have a much better idea and grasp on things that you either need to think about for your own budget, or you know all the details of what you're pre-qualified for, or we have a better set in stone plan of when we're going to touch base again down the road because you know what you need to work on.